Tabby.
And I'm Caitlin, and today we are discussing It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover.
Wow. We always said that we were never going to read a Colleen Hoover book, but we finally let's see what all the hype's about. And I'm still not quite sure what all the hype was about.
I'm not either. And okay, so here's the thing. I actually have read one of her books before. It's less popular than some, but I've read Reminders of Him, and it wasn't my favorite. It was on Kindle Unlimited. And similar things that bothered me about that book bother me about this book. And we're going to talk about those things.
It wasn't like a bad book, is the thing.
No.
Like in terms of how it was, and I think you talked about this too, like in terms of how it was written, very good.
Yeah.
Very no error. Like it was very sound.
Yes. She is technically a very good author.
Like the story, however, I was just pissed off most of the book.
Yeah. I was very angry from start to finish, and I'm going to go ahead and read the Goodreads back of the book. It says, sometimes it is the one who loves you who hurts you the most. I don't know why I struggled to read that. Sometimes it's the one who loves you who hurts you the most. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. So when she feels a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle Kincaid, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Yeah, it's too good to be true, girly.
Every time I hear someone mispronounce gorgeous or like mess up on gorgeous, it reminds me of like the thing where it's like, get you a man who knows how to spell who knows how to tell you you're gorgeous.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah, I don't know. I was struggling with a few of these sentences. It kind of felt like tongue twisters.
That was a pretty short back of the book.
That was it.
So let's talk about ratings. I gave the book like a 4.12 out of 10, just because it's like, I've always said, I love a book that makes me like feel things. I don't like it when the book only makes me like angry though. And it's because like the character, they developed in a negative way. Like I feel like they didn't necessarily get better as the book went on. And it's like there were a couple times where it made me very emotional. And I feel like it shouldn't have, because I didn't want to connect with these characters because they made so many bad choices.
I honestly, and I have seen other people's opinions of Colleen Hoover books in general, and they tend to say that like she writes these things that are upsetting, and yes, you feel the emotions that you're supposed to feel because like you have like that empathy as a reader.
'Cause you're a human, yeah.
But like it feels like she only writes the upsetting thing to like make you upset, and then that's supposed to translate to, yeah, I made you feel things, like I'm such a good author.
It's like, no, you wrote something that is just very sentimental and would make anyone cry, but you put it on the most dumb bitch of dumb bitches,
and then we're supposed to like
it's not the
feel
same
bad for the people in this book. But yeah, I mean, I rated it a 5 out of 10.
It wasn't bad, but
like the book, if you strip it down to the barest of bones, like the book was entertaining, it was written well. However, I was upset the entire time, and not in a good way, not in a way that made me want to keep reading. I kept reading for the sake of finishing the book to discuss it, but like I didn't want intrigued. To. You know what I mean?
No, I do. I was not with it. It was just okay. I won't be reading the sequel, so it also ends with us as well.
It ends with us. It ends with this podcast. We may watch the movie just to kind of like talk about it in the future on the show, but I won't be doing it for my sake.
Because I thought I was mad about the book, but then I was also so upset about the cast as well.
Yeah, I understand why you guys were angry. Like the casting's bad.
It was a bad cast for a bad book. Like
yeah, so I feel bad. Like if this is like your favorite book ever and they're absolutely botching this movie for you, I'm so sorry.
They somehow made Blake Lively look like she was at least 50.
They made her look older. She looks like she's just been living in her own little like cottage with cats. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not the
But
vibe of
Lily
this
Bloom
book.
is 25 years old.
Yeah, so they need to calm down. I don't know what they're doing.
Crazy.
But let's start by talking about the characters.
So we have Lily Bloom, our main character. We do get to see flashbacks in form of journal entries between her and Ellen DeGeneres throughout the book, which I don't know how it made me feel.
It felt like
know
something like it felt like something
she was
I would
trying to be
do
funny
as a kid. Like it was funny.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the episode of New Girl where Schmidt used to write letters to Michael Keaton because his mom had convinced him that was his father, but it's actually his mom writing the letters as Michael Keaton.
Yes. I forgot about that part of the show. That's very
funny. That is what it reminded me of.
Oh my God. But yeah, other than that, like other than her being like slightly funny and likable, she made me mad.
Every time like her mom would call her though and she'd like scream into the pillow before answering it, like I did feel that on a deep emotional level.
Like she is funny, she is relatable, but she's dumb.
She's really dumb. She's just so dumb. And like I think the thing that pissed me off the most, and it's not even the situation, because I know a lot of women find themselves in situations where their partner turns abusive and they, did not see it coming. And for that, I do deeply empathize. Like, I feel very, very bad for her. What pissed me off, though, was that she let it happen 3 times after she said it wouldn't happen again after the first time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like the first time, you could easily write that off as an accident, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. And like she knew deep down that's not what had happened.
Yeah.
But when he pushes you down the stairs, could have very easily killed you, and you didn't walk away. Like, I'm so sorry, but that should have been it.
Yeah. And I think like I'm gonna kind of go ahead and like jump ahead to something I've wanted to talk about, like, like eventually. But since we're talking about it now in terms of Lily, I just wanted to like say this because I know that even from Lily's like narrative point of view, like the whole point that was emphasized was, why does everyone blame the woman for not leaving but not blaming the man for doing it? And it's like, we do blame the man for doing it, but like it's her, Lily, not blaming Ryle. Like,
yes, she didn't want to ruin his career. She didn't want him to have any repercussions from
and his family. It's like it's you need to start blaming him. You blame him. He's the one.
It's like he'll just keep doing it to somebody else.
Yeah, and so I like. I know the point of this book was meant to be like to show how hard it is for women to leave a situation like that. I don't doubt that for 1 second. I've never been in that situation and I can't even imagine it. But like, why are you like, oh, why does no one blame him for doing it to me? It's like, we would if you would tell people, but you covered for his ass. You lied. You said it was an accident. You decided to instead have his baby. First of all, I
probably wouldn't have done that.
And maybe that's just me. But then not only that, but then co-parent with the man.
And let him just have the child by himself.
Yep. Just joint custody with this fuck who pushed you down the stairs.
It's like that kid pisses him off once and he like knocks it down. And it hits its head. Like,
I don't understand. It's like we're rewarding him.
Yes.
For his behavior.
He had no repercussions except for her leaving. And you know what else did tick me off about it is that, like, she was like, wow, sometimes you just never see it coming. And then she's like, I wonder if I'm becoming like my mother. And I think at that point, when she knew she was in the same situation as her mom was, she should have left. And she continued to just use that as an excuse, like, oh, I don't want to become like my mom, but I think I am. And it's like, well, by choosing to continue that role, like, you're just putting yourself in a worse situation. Like, you had multiple opportunities to walk away.
And like the fact that we're supposed to believe that her not being with Ryle romantically is just going to cure this man of his disgusting anger issues. As if the first time she met him, he wasn't trying to destroy a piece of roof furniture like
Yeah.
a fucking child throwing a tantrum. And she's like, well, if I break up with him, he won't act like that anymore. And my child will be safe with him. Like, what?
No, and it's like, and we'll talk. Like, I'll switch to Ryle here. So Ryle has like these episodes, I would guess you would call them, where he just blacks out and like doesn't realize he's in like this fit of rage. And so like he and his family have all said that he has zero control over himself in these situations.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she was like, if I leave him, these won't happen, even though it's something that he, quote unquote, can't control.
Yep.
Like, what makes you think it
And
won't happen again?
this has been happening since before they were dating. And like we could assume that when Alyssa was like potentially going to warn Lily, Ryle kind of walked in and he was like, it sounded like you were about to like warn her. And it's
She
like
had other
she
opportunities,
should
though.
have she should have
In
because
that moment, what she did later on, after she learned that Ryle was possibly being abusive, she's like, you need to tell her. And she should have maybe done that and let her make that choice prior to them even getting together.
yeah, because like if this is something that you've like been going to therapy for or whatever and it's still not any better, then maybe you just shouldn't be alone with people ever.
And like, I'll give it to Ryle. Like, he even said he never wants to like have a relationship. And I'm sure part of it was because of the episodes. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if love, I mean, I'm sure obviously love had something to do with it. He was, very infatuated with Lily to the point of it being like obsessive. But like, she should have taken that and been like, all right, like, no worries. We'll part separate ways. But no, she was like, no, I like being a drug and I like being wanted. And it's like, girl,
She had her own things that she, needed to kind of work through.
sure.
And I am not blaming her for the fact that he like abused her. That's not
That's
where this is
not her
coming from.
fault.
But it's like, why why did she continue to make things worse? She was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna marry him. And what's more,
Oh
I'm
my
gonna
God.
fucking have this baby, even though I fucking can't stand him and wish that he never impregnated me. I was just
And
like, okay, you do you.
that's the biggest difference, I think, between Lily's, like Mrs. Bloom's situation, Lily's situation. Lily's mom stayed with him for her sake because I mean, yes, he was abusive towards her, but Lily would not have like had the life that she needed. Like, she wouldn't have been able to take care of herself. Like, that was the best that she could do.
Yeah, she was like,
Lily's
I cannot afford.
choosing to have a child with this man
Yeah.
and be in his life.
And
Like,
forever subject this child to this man's abuse because it's not going to end with us. It's not going to end with you breaking up with him. Like his sister even knows that he's a piece of shit. Like why
oh,
would it
that
be any different?
man.
I'm still so upset by this. I whenever like they told her she was pregnant in the hospital, like I should have seen it coming. But I thought it was going to be then something about like the
I
hard
thought,
decision of like having to abort the pregnancy because,
right.
like the conflicting emotions of that. But it's like, nope, I'm going to have this man's
Should
child.
I stay with him or not? No, that's not the question you should be asking yourself right now.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you're heading out at a stranger's, like, I know you knew Atlas, but it's been fucking, 6 years
what,
or
8
whatever.
years? I can't remember. 9 years, I think.
Like,
Yeah.
that's a perfect stranger at this point.
Speaking of Atlas, okay, everyone makes me mad. Like, I'm glad his life ended up turning out for the better. He got the restaurant he wanted, and like, that's great for him. I love that for him. But he upsets me too, because the moment that he and Lily like found each other again as adults, if he had just been straight up with her and been like, yeah, actually, like,
I've been
I
waiting for
still
you.
want to be with you if you want to like give this a go. But instead he like lied and said, "No, I've got a long-term girlfriend and basically
What a weird
off.
thing to do.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, you know what? The worst that could have happened is she rejected him and still ended up in her situation. But the
But
best thing that could
here's
have
the
happened was none of this would have happened to her.
no, the thing that was so weird about this is that like she kept all these mementos from him, like moved to fucking Boston
Yeah.
in the off chance that she would run into him. But then, like, when it comes down to it, and like, I know Ryle was in the picture at the time, but she was just like, well, that was so long ago. Why would I do that? And it's like, you
Right.
moved to a whole different state. What do you mean?
It's like you literally are only in Boston on the off chance that you get to like have your
Like,
fates align with this man and you're not going to shoot your shot.
and he was just like, yeah, I wish we had met a year ago, which I thought that was weird too. Why would, like, not only did you make up a girlfriend, but then
Yeah.
you're like, I wish, I'd run into a year ago.
Right.
What?
I wish that I had run
You
into you
doubled
before my
down on it.
long-term fake girlfriend. Like, yeah, that would be a buck wild thing to say if he actually had a serious girlfriend.
I would be so mad as the girlfriend.
Yeah, like that pissed me off.
I
Yeah.
always feel bad in those situations, like whenever two people fall in love and the other one is in a relationship, but they end it. But like, man, I would feel so rejected as that other person. Like,
Yeah. You know, it kind of reminds me of the Ravenhood series, like when Sean moves on and gets married, and
I was like,
like
stab me in the fucking heart.
part of you knows that like
They
he
could
is,
have ended up together.
yeah, like they could have been lifers, and it hurts a little bit.
I still wish they had been. I'm not ready to talk about that, but that's fine. Alyssa, you know what? Alyssa's a real hoe. She's
Yeah.
just a real hoe. I didn't much care for her, and I know she was supposed to be like the real supportive, like best friend, but she was so entitled.
I feel like this book would have been better if Alyssa and Marshall weren't wealthy. It was weird to write it in. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. Because the whole thing is like Marshall sold a couple apps to Apple and like now he sells them updates. So now they're like zillionaires. And I was like, that really
But
doesn't
then
make
she was
sense.
like, "We made $6 million." It's like, well, that's not like that is a lot of money, but I don't feel like that is enough to act the way that you do.
Yeah, but it also is like, why would they make that much money? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like, what are
No,
you like? What is this app? Is it a nuclear weapon? I don't understand.
like, what is it?
So Alyssa, it was really annoying from like the get-go. She was like, yeah, I'm super wealthy, but I just want to work retail because I'm bored of sitting in my entire floor worth of an apartment because I don't have a baby, so I'm bored. So clearly
She's like,
my
"Yeah, I
life has
can't
no
have
purpose.
children."
So I need to go work a part-time retail job. I was like, that just feels like a gross thing to write about a woman. It's like, I don't have a baby, so I need to find something else to do with my time. Like, I don't know. I didn't like that. And
It's like,
like,
and we have people to clean my house, so I have nothing else that I could do. Like,
you could
ew.
just like let them go and be like,
Or
hey,
like find like a real job. I don't know. Like,
or like they talk about donating to all these charities. Okay, be a philanthropist and make your own charity or something.
yeah, like there's so many other things you could be doing.
I was just like, this feels like someone who doesn't know anything about rich people writing rich people.
That's not very for the girls of you, Colleen Hoover.
And I mean, I'm not saying that like regular rich people aren't insufferable because they are, but like it feels 10 times worse whenever it's like, I'm a rich person, but I'm not really a rich person. Like
Well, and
that
it
part.
sounds like they kind of came from like I don't think they were like poor by any
But
means,
if like Ryle is a
but
neurosurgeon and every like obviously they
yeah,
had like money growing
his
up.
family just up and moved to England, like no big deal.
Yeah.
But like just the fact that she's just like I feel like she's almost rubbing it like in Lily's face, like, oh, don't worry, we have people for that. Oh, we have
Yeah.
people for that.
It was just like
Oh, why would
weird.
I do that? We have people for that. It's like, stop.
She gave me the ick. Like a lot.
Yeah. But then like Marshall, on the other hand, like he like always would be like, wow, your rich white girl is showing. And it's like, you're rich too. Shut the fuck up. Like, you're
Yeah.
doing odd things for a rich man.
Yeah, and he was like pretending like they did the fucking onesies to get free beer, and he like wouldn't even let any like he wouldn't let Lily order wine because he was like, that's not free. And it's like, hey man,
You're a millionaire.
she wants wine. Like, let her
Like,
get
save
wine.
it for the fucking, like, poor people who need it.
Yeah, like it's really like it's just not. I feel like it's so out of touch to be like joking about the fact that
I
they're so rich. Like it's
I
just
feel like
like
they're trying to make them more down to earth, and it just came off like very like tone deaf.
yeah, it really backfired. And I like would not want to hang out with these people.
No, no, I would not. Well, and also, like, I think it was very disingenuous of Alyssa to support Lily's bunk ass idea of the steampunk flower chain because
Huh.
I thought that was wild. And that's like not a very good friend to not tell your other friend that that's a terrible idea.
Yeah. And I don't buy it that they like got a million orders for the fucking steampunk flowers. Like,
Yeah, there's
sorry.
no way that your flower shop was like popping off like that.
And I could see that being like a quirky thing that you do, but like to make it the entire theme of the shop is just wild.
I didn't like that. I hate things that are just like completely unattainable in books. Like,
Yeah. It's
it
like,
really
yeah,
takes me out of it.
you know what the people of Boston want? Steampunk flowers.
Steampunk flowers
It's like, I doubt it, but okay.
from
Um,
Lily Blossom Bloom herself.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, dude, the names in this book, I cannot.
Yeah,
Um,
Ryle.
so Mrs. Bloom, I had a real love-hate relationship with Mrs. Bloom because I feel like obviously being abused to half of her life probably led her to make poor choices.
Yeah.
But I do also feel like once she was away from her deceased husband and like started her own life and like kind of her own thing in Boston, like she actually was given some pretty good advice at the
Hmm.
end of it there. And I do feel like she experienced a lot of personal growth. I just wish she had been able to do that prior to him dying.
No, I agree. And again, I know the point of the book is like we're not blaming the abuse
No,
victim, but like if you have all of this sage wisdom about like, oh, if he really loved you, he wouldn't let you like be with him. Like, where was that energy? You know what I mean?
for yourself.
When your 15-year-old daughter was watching you get raped by your husband on the couch, like where was that energy? You know what I'm
And like
saying?
the fact that like it was kind of the same thing. She was like Lily was very willing to call the police and they had
Yeah.
proof and everything. And she's like, I don't want to ruin your father's career. Who gives a fuck about these men?
Yeah. It's like, okay,
Bye.
you remember that narrative, Lily, when it's like, why does no one ever blame the man? It's like, because like start fucking doing
Because
it.
you're not blaming the
Who's
man.
stopping you? Like, blame him.
Like
Yes.
you didn't even do it and it was happening to you.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. And I feel like that almost comes off as tone deaf from like Colleen Hoover's like why are you writing that if you're not even gonna have them blame the man
And
in the book?
like
Like, is that
I
your
don't
point?
know. Like I've never been abused, so I don't really know. And like maybe it's different if you're like actively being abused and like you really do deeply love this person, but they can't love you that much if they are abusing you.
Yeah, I guess I just like I can't understand the mindset because I've never been in that
Right.
situation. And
And
I
so maybe
recognize
it's just
that.
like I just don't know, but
Yeah. I recognize that. There's probably something that's just like it's not clicking for us because we just don't get it. And that's fair.
it's like I really do feel like if I were getting abused at home, I don't think I'd be like, I don't want to ruin his career. It's like, no, we're both going down here.
I would think so.
I'm a little
But
spiteful, so I
again,
don't know.
it's like clearly there's some kind of pattern for a reason. Like clearly people get scared and I get it. Like if someone pushes you down the stairs, I would be scared
I'd
of them
be very
too.
frightened of them.
But like
But I
because of
also don't
that,
think I'd return to our shared place of living.
no, I would fucking run away and tell people what happened. Like I wouldn't go back to living with them like it's fine, I forgive you. Nope.
I
Not
don't
me.
know. I just feel like she kept thinking like she didn't have options when she did, in fact, have many options.
She literally had her own business, like her own source of income. They had separate bank accounts. She
She did
couldn't,
that on purpose too. Like she asked for that.
so that she wouldn't be in that situation, and yet she stayed anyway. So I don't fucking understand.
I don't know. I don't
Um,
know. I don't know. Mrs. Bloom, I feel like they probably talk about her more in the second book and like her new relationship. And I really do hope it goes well for them. But
yeah. No,
I
you know
guess
what I don't forgive her for though is forcing Lily to do a eulogy for her father's funeral.
that was fucked up. And
That
then
was
being
fucked
like,
up.
I was so proud of you for standing up for you. It's like, why'd you make her do it?
No, like no. That's fucked up. Because what she's supposed to tell you no, like that would make her the asshole. So,
Why
yeah.
don't you do it?
That was an asshole thing to do, Mrs. Bloom, and I do not forgive you for that.
It's like you don't want to do it. What makes you think your daughter who had to watch it happen want to do it?
Right?
Like
Just have the fucking priest or whatever do it. I don't know.
like surely he had friends.
Yeah, have or like a brother or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's all the characters in this book. There's not very many. Unless you want to count fucking Renesmee. I'm saying that because her name's stupid as
Her
well.
name is so fucking stupid.
Okay, her first name's fine. It's like named after their brother who passed away,
Emerson,
but
that's really cute. Named after the brother he
Dory,
brutally slaughtered. And
yeah, you would think it would have like some bad memories, but like Emerson, that's
Dory,
cute. Dory, unforgivable. That's
like straight to
worse than
jail.
Renesmee. I'm sorry.
Straight to jail.
So, speaking of like all the things that have pissed us off, because we've really like gone down the rabbit hole here. What I am most upset about is just the fact that the way Colleen wrote this book, she was acting like we had to redeem Ryle. We had to sympathize with him. Like that scene that of course it made us emotional because we have feelings, we have hearts, where she is like, what would you do if Emerson came to you and was like, Dad, my boyfriend pushed me down the stairs, like what should I do? That part was
I did
gross to
cry.
me. Yeah, but it was gross because it was like, in a way, it's him being manipulative again. Because he was like,
Right.
well, I would tell her to leave. And it's like, okay,
Okay, man. And
then
then
why
you're
the
still
fuck?
asking her.
Yeah, you're still asking her to be with you, and you're still acting that way. Like, because I'm sorry, I don't buy the whole I blacked out. I had no idea what I was
No,
doing.
you didn't. You got
No,
mad and you pushed her
you,
down the stairs.
yeah,
Like
you're not like that's not real. I don't believe that.
you got mad and you slammed her head into some cabinets. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, like, why do we need to sympathize with this character? I don't understand why we had to just like forgive
And
her.
you know what? You didn't fucking black out when you pushed her on the bed and tried to rape her. You
Yeah.
didn't black out.
I'm so sick of, and then the fact that they never call him out on that excuse, it pisses me off because that's like enabling him more. Alyssa's like, no, 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 he's always been like this. Like he just blacks out and he can't. Like, no, that's no. Ask a psychiatrist and they'll tell you that he's responsible for his own actions. Like that's ridiculous.
But you know how, like, you know what I thought was possibly even worse is that, like, so they all know that Ryle's like this, right? And, like, they know before they get married and also immediately after they got married that something happened. Like, you don't come in with, like, fucking stitches on your head all the time and, like, bruises on you all the time
Yeah.
and something's not going on. And Alyssa still names her child after him
Yep.
because he is the biggest inspiration to her.
Yep.
That's disgusting.
It's so weird. Like all of I don't understand. I really don't. Like his sister, Marshall, Lily, they were all just like
I
pretending.
don't understand. And I don't know if it's because, like, I mean, obviously, like, accidentally, you know, killing your brother, that is very traumatic. And that is something that he has to live with for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
That does not give him an excuse to act like that. Like,
to continue hurting the people around him on purpose and then claiming it's an accident time and time again. Like, no.
and also then, like, claiming that he can't help it instead of
Yeah, like
It
you are
sounds
a
like
grown
he
man.
needs more help than what he's getting. And also, it's like, I can't imagine that he's keeping up with therapy if he's fucking at the hospital 12 days a week.
Yeah,
Like,
and when he's not at the hospital, he's at home with Lily. Like, I don't understand.
so I don't really buy that he's in therapy.
No, and it's like if he was, then he would have some coping mechanisms to use, and clearly he does not.
Yeah, it kind of feels like he maybe went to therapy once just to say he went, and then he's like, yeah, I've been seeking help since I was 6.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
He was
dog, you went
like,
to therapy
but you
once.
can't be mad at me. You can't be mad at me because I'm trying. It was honestly so
Gag.
disgusting. And most of all, I'm just mad at Colleen Hoover for writing it that way. Like, she didn't have to make them all forgive him.
And like, I'm still just mad that it's like after 6 months and one violent assault, she was like, this is the man that I like. No, you were literally about to walk away.
Yeah.
Like,
You
you're
were
about
about to
to
walk
leave.
away. Plus, she still clearly has feelings for Atlas. Like, this entire time, she's been reading these journals and like reliving those. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand why she was like, this is it for me. This is the man I am going to marry.
It's like, maybe we should take some more time to see if it does happen again before you saddle yourself with him.
Yeah. I, again, am not blaming her for being a victim, but I am blaming her for the decisions that she made. And that is one of them. Like, she decided to elope with this man.
And it's like, not only, and so like, again, I know they wrote the first time he like pushed her off as an accident just because he was, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. But not only did she just have like blood all over her face and whatever, and instead of cleaning her up, he was like, I'm gonna fuck you.
Yep.
And this is my apology to you. It was giving Tamlin deep down.
Yeah.
It was like, what a villainous thing to do. And then after she had to go clean off her own blood and shit because he was just like, all right, now go on and get.
Yep.
And then immediately lies about it the next day. And she's like, no, I get it because that's what I would do too. Why?
Yeah.
Embarrass him.
I thought you were so mad about people not blaming
You're
the man.
about to leave. Why wouldn't you tell people what happened?
Yeah. Honestly, it's pissing me off. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, Lily fell. Oh, I'm sorry. Did
I would be like, did I?
That's crazy because I remember you pushing me.
And then she's
Whoa.
like, it's crazy. Like, no one ever gets mad. They don't have the chance to if you don't tell them what happened.
God, pissed me off so bad.
Oh,
and I was so mad that I wasted tears on this book.
that's the thing is, and I think that's why people get mad about reading these books because it feels like the emotions that are plucked from us like weren't willingly
I did not
given.
consent to this.
They weren't earned. And this book is cheap. Like, this story is cheap writing.
Shot.
Yeah. It's like, of course we're going to cry and be upset that this happened. Like, this is an upsetting thing to happen to anyone. Even if I don't know the person, like, of course I'm going to be upset to hear about their assault in violent graphic detail. Like, I don't know what the point of this book was because in the end, he still got everything he wanted. He got his daughter. He's got Lily attached to him for life.
He's got a good ass job. He's got all his family.
He's got his sister and best friend / brother-in-law and his sweet little niece. Like, he did not lose a single thing.
He can't fucking lose.
Oh, it makes me so mad.
They're just gonna feed into his little god complex that I feel most neurosurgeons probably have.
Probably.
I feel like you have to be in that field. Just the overconfidence that you are God
chronically
himself.
Abuse your partner as well.
Probably. It comes with the job.
Yeah. Like,
fuck.
It's like police officers.
So I really quick would like to revisit Atlas. This is a major thought and concern. You know what just doesn't sit right with me is that this man, he's 18, he's a grown adult. This man was kicked out of his home, yeah, because his parents suck, and that sucks. It really does.
Yeah.
I've never been in this situation, but I have had to care for a person in that situation, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And I love Lily's compassion and that she wanted to help, what I did not love was that once she developed feelings, he was like, how long until you turn 16? Cool, because I can't wait till you're 18, so 16 is gonna have to be good enough.
And the fact that he had already moved to Boston and specifically came back on her 16th birthday so they could fuck.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah. And at that point, he probably would have been 19.
I totally get why her dad beat the shit out of him. You're a predator.
Yeah, because
I don't feel bad.
Violence is not the answer, but Lily's like, oh, my dad's beating up this poor homeless boy. It's like, no, that's a man who just raped his daughter.
Predator.
Like,
he's not homeless anymore. He had a home and he chose to come back here.
Oh my God, it pissed me off.
That's messed up. She was 16. She's 16. But can you do you remember when we were 15?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I would not be having sex with a 19-year-old.
Not only do I remember how like naive and
immature
I would have been, but also I remember how much I looked like a literal child. And
yes,
a 19-year-old or 18-year-old wanted to sleep with me, that's gross.
It's gross because you can vote and you can live on your own and you look like an adult. So and a 15-year-old is a child.
Yeah. Like, I still have braces.
Yeah, I was ugly as fuck at 15. Like, there's not a 15-year-old that is, like, beautiful.
And if they are, then that's kind of scary.
Like, good for them, I guess. But that's a child.
Careful. Stay away from creepy men.
y'all be careful out there.
Y'all be careful out there. If you're a good-looking 15-year-old, just hide until you can be safe from the world.
Don't be talking to 19-year-olds. It ain't right.
Don't be doing it.
No, that just really didn't sit well with me. And it was just so glossed over. And you know what I also noticed was that first of all, a Colleen Hoover book is not spicy. It was not spicy.
No, I was led to believe it would be. But half the time they were having sex was after he just violently assaulted her.
Yes. But when she would write about any time her and Atlas were like intimate, like, she didn't use any details. She'd be like, well, Ellen, you don't really need to know about that. And it's probably because she didn't feel right about writing about a 19 and a 15-year-old having sex. And you know what? If you don't feel right about writing that, you probably shouldn't have written it.
No, that's a good point. I didn't catch that as I was reading it, but yeah, I bet you're absolutely right. She's like, that would be weird to go into detail.
Right? So it's probably weird to put it in your story.
Yeah, and then act like Atlas was the hero of the story. Like, what he do? What a
strange thing to do.
What did Atlas do that we're praising him for besides, not push Lily down the stairs? What did he do that's so
It's like, that's really cool that he, beat the statistics and he joined the military and whatever.
I love that for him.
Love that.
He deserves that.
But that doesn't change anything because he could have just as easily reached out to her and checked in. And he even said, I just didn't feel like I was good enough for you. Okay, then you can't be mad that she's marrying someone.
Yeah. And also, and he can be mad that she was being abused, but at the same time, he did not handle it appropriately at all. As soon as, in the restaurant when he ran into fucking Ryle and they just started, pounding each other in the hallway, I was like, how is this helping the situation? The only thing it's gonna do is piss Lily off, potentially make Ryle so mad that he takes it out on Lily more when they get home,
which he did.
And so I was just like, why would he think that he's being the hero?
This book,
I don't like a single person in this book.
Yeah, no one was good. And
the movie's gonna be shit.
And I do wish that upon you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's no offense, because they're all gorgeous people, but they're all 40. And
I love Justin Baldoni.
Yeah.
Love him.
But
he's old.
Lively. But they are not in their early 20s. And nothing will convince me of that.
He is no longer giving Raphael from Jane the Virgin.
No, even then it's he's
giving
he's
dirty hippie now.
30s.
And late 30s.
Yes. Is he young? No.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That does conclude It Ends With Us. for this time. Like I said, we will not be continuing on with this.
Yeah.
If you do want to read the second one, I do believe it's called It Starts With Us.
Yes.
And it's all about Atlas and Lily. Yeah, join us next week to hear our own fan casts for the movie adaptation of It Ends With Us. I think we can do better.
I think so too. And it might not be perfect, but the bar is so low.
The bar is on the floor.
The week after that will actually be an off week for us. We're going to be in the mountains, drinking moonshine on a little family vacation. So
it's going to be really fun. Pray for us. We're going hiking.
Hope there's no like bears or anything, but you know, if this is the last you hear from us, sorry.
We love you so much and we appreciate everything.
Yeah, and it's okay if you can't say 5 good things about us at our funeral. I get it.
Totally understand.
So join us next week. We'll talk to you then. And as always,
let's get lit.